Hornets podcast. David Walker joining us for Fun Fridays. We're going to do the Hive Life at the end of the show, but we might as well go Hive Live as soon as the show starts. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. We're free and available on all platforms. That includes YouTube, which you're watching live, presumably on right now. If you haven't checked us out yet, go subscribe. Growing pretty fast. We really appreciate everybody's support. It really is impressive, and appreciate everybody, what you guys are doing, helping us help you guys out. So again, go check us out on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, Walker Mail, Doug Branson, LOH, David B. Walker, and at Locked On Hornets. Are you telling me we got another big man trade proposition to talk about today?
Yeah. Should we roll the intro?
You want to?
I want to, because it's gonna be good for the audio if we do.
All right, let's go ahead. Put the open in.
You are Locked On Hornets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
For some reason on Hive Lives, I didn't think we did the whole first open and then the second open thing. I didn't think we did that, but for some reason, I don't know why I thought that, but that's why that was that whole hiccup. Can I get into the big man trade talk now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to help you out with the audio edit. I want to
help.
make sure the intro's there. Listen, we got branding to take care of here. So yes, now go ahead. I just want to remind everyone we are live on YouTube right now. Chat with us. Last show we took a lot of shouts from the international folks. So I'm going to open it up to both the international viewers and the national viewers. Let us know if you're listening from a different state than North Carolina. Holler. If you're listening to us in a different city in North Carolina other than Charlotte, holler at us in the chat. I want to shout you out.
There's going to be so many different places. Everybody's just going to be putting up their destinations here.
Shout your home.
Belly Plays writes in, is this you guys' first YouTube stream? If this is going to be the thing moving forward, count me in. We do this, I mean, maybe not every Friday, but pretty much like
Try to do it every Friday, once a week. Yep.
Yeah. David Walker joining us. David, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, guys. I'm just getting my shoe research going. So, Doug, I know you got a lot of questions. I want to get to those. Let's don't forget about that.
I love that your shoe research is happening as soon as we go live, not before the show.
Right.
Now, that's very me, and I like that.
Yeah, we're starting off really haphazardly, so like trying to figure out what's going on with the intro. I didn't know how to do this.
Hive
Even though I've
Live,
been
baby.
doing the show for a long time now. I still didn't know how to bring everything in. But hopefully we can start to hit the ground running here, talking about a new guy that could be available out there for the Charlotte Hornets to get, except he's kind of an old new guy. It's Richaun Holmes, somebody that we've talked about a lot even just last season. And in free agency, that seemed to be the player that the Hornets really could make a true signing. And then when he signed for the amount of money he did, making about 10, 11, 12, 13 on an ascending contract with Sacramento, it was a little bit lower than what you thought Charlotte would be interested in offering him, except they just never did. And now it's reported that Richaun Holmes is on the trade market because the Kings are kinging. You know, they do what they do. Buddy Hield, he's on the trade block. So is De'Aaron Fox. Maybe they want to get guys that fit in better with De'Aaron Fox, whatever. We know that Richaun Holmes is available. David, let's talk with you first, because I think Miles Turner's injury happened since the last time we discussed anything. Also, we've got the Richaun Holmes thing going on now. Christian Wood was thrown out there by a John Hollinger. Where are you this week on the Charlotte Hornets need to make a trade for a center? The Charlotte Hornets don't need to make a trade for a center.
Oh man, need. That's such an interesting word when we're talking about the Hornets. And yeah, they're big man. You know, something popped into my mind though, watching a former Charlotte Hornet big man with the Phoenix Suns currently right now, named Bismack Biyombo. And it was just that great point guards can make anyone look really, really good. No shots at Biz, but he seems to be catching a lot more balls these days, dunking them with a lot more efficiency because he's playing with Chris Paul. And I'm starting to think that LaMelo is really, whoever comes in here is going to be elevated. I mean, look what he's doing for Miles Plumlee right now. I mean, when he's not shooting backward shots, he's really being efficient these days and being impactful. So I'm starting to think, guys, that they're no longer working with the timeline and the window for this team. I mean, they're really working with the LaMelo timeline. And if they've got an opportunity to add someone in the middle that's going to take LaMelo's game and improve this team to another level, I think they really have to start looking at it. I mean, honestly, I like what the team's doing. I don't want to lose any of these fun pieces they have right now either. But they've got to start thinking about when they're going to have these opportunities to strike. They really don't have a history of being successful in free agency. That may change with LaMelo. But if they're going to be able to pounce on someone that's looking to move on from a deal they've already made, it may be the time to do it.
So I want to go to the Richaun Holmes piece. I mean, I think it would qualify as one of the kind of smaller deals the Hornets could go after because, as you said, he signed 4 years, $46 million, so he'll make $11 million next year, $12 million the next season, and then almost $13 million in the final year of his deal. Richaun Holmes, a guy, I mean, he's going to give you some block shots, going to give you some tough defense, going to go after loose balls, hustle plays, dunks. But I mean, offensively, he's pretty limited. So I think if they can swing a deal, I mean, it's a lot easier to make that salary match than it would be for a Sabonis or even a Turner or some other kind of bigger deal. So I think they could make that work a little bit easier. It's really, do the Sacramento Kings really want to play with the Hornets, or are they trying? It seems like they're going back and forth with Philadelphia right now over Ben Simmons. And so you've had Holmes' name floated out there, Halliburton, Fox. It seems like, the Sixers want Fox. There's all kinds of names are floating around, and I'm not sure it means anything for the Hornets at this point.
Well, I mean, this is what the Kings do. They don't know what they want to do. I mean, they're like, all right, well, we signed Richaun Holmes, and now we're going to trade him this offseason. We're going to make this 3-guard lineup a thing with Tyrese Halliburton, De'Aaron Fox, and Davion Mitchell, and now we might trade these guys, and even De'Aaron Fox is on the table because it's not working this year. They had a playoff mandate, apparently, too, from the ownership. I think we've heard that a couple of times via NBA podcast, and now it's not necessarily working as well. I actually think they're not crazy far off the standings, if I'm not mistaken. I want to save my bandwidth, so I don't want to look up the standings right now. Either way, I think the Kings, they just have no clue what they want to do with these players, even if they sign them the previous free agency.
The other thing about Richaun Holmes, just to note, is that he's had like 2 eye injuries this season, a pretty gruesome one.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to wear goggles. And so and he's been out for a little, I think he's just come back from the COVID list. I mean, it's a small thing, but I think you got to investigate that and make sure that this guy that you're bringing in is going to be able to play effectively the rest of the season with that kind of injury that I think would affect your ability to kind of time up blocks and different things like that. So just something to note.
No, for sure. I mean, how many effective Hornets players have we seen wear goggles? The only one that comes to mind is Kurt Rambis.
Yeah, early on, who's busy destroying the Lakers franchise.
Yeah, I think he's liking inappropriate tweets out there somewhere. That's the only guy I can think of. Classic Horace Grant stuff, never played for the Hornets. We don't have any other goggles like that.
I know he never did. This is, again, I mentioned this, I think, on yesterday's show. It's like that situation where everybody thinks that the comedian Sinbad did a movie where he was a genie, but that's not actually the case. But it's like a mass number of people believe.
That's Shaquille.
Right? Mandela effect. Thank you. It's the Mandela effect. So I have that. It's a singular Mandela effect. No one else does. I'm not going to claim that this is a thing that people think. But in my head, I see Matt Geiger at some point having goggles.
Of course, because it's ridiculous.
But the Geiger goggles are a thing in my head, and I can't get it out.
Yeah. I mean, it's a ridiculous thing. Maybe, is there anybody that even had one eye injury where they had to do the LeBron face mask, Rip Hamilton thing? I don't even know if there was any of that going on.
I feel like Cody Zeller must have worn a mask at some point. I mean, he broke his face. He broke his face to kick off this year, so I don't know.
It's so Cody. It feels inappropriate to laugh at too, but yeah.
I'm gonna make this my like show thing where I'm gonna find a Hornet or Bobcat with a mask.
I mean, Crash never had to wear any sort of protective thing on his face at all.
MKG
is that I know, right? Those are all great entrances. Like I don't know. I would think Crash is the name that would most likely be the guy to wear a mask because of the nickname itself. But maybe we'll give Doug some time to go look at this. Yeah, I want to talk about Richaun Holmes a little bit more. So I think it's really interesting, especially where we thought the Hornets were going to go after him in free agency. Eventually, it's the Sacramento Kings that end up with him. So let's talk about Richaun Holmes. We'll also get to the shoe game that David started to do research on as soon as the show started during my bad entrance. BetOnline would like to wish you a happy new betting year as they continue the march to the playoffs and beyond. BetOnline remains the #1 spot for all the best sports wagering action for 2022. They have a new year, so they have a new updated desktop and mobile website to sign up today, and you can receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use promo code LOCKEDON to get started. From football, basketball, hockey, boxing, UFC, even right to your favorite Vegas casino game. You don't have to wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for 2022. BetOnline is the fastest and the easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. Let's talk more Richaun Holmes and shoe game coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
This is Locked On Hornets.
All right, so we've got Al, or we've got the question how. Like, how did Miles do that? Can you help us end this debate with so much, an unbelievable amount on the line?
Doug, I respect you to the nth degree, but Walker, I'm telling you, every single person who saw that reacted that way. Some of us just were tighter than others, and I just had to release this from my body.
It's time for more of the Locked On Hornets podcast.